So Paul, how do you find yourself here at Easter Road tonight?
Well, currently I work for NHS Lothian, and in my past life I was a professional badminton player for the GB squad. I heard about Fit For Life and the GameChanger programme, and actively asked if I could have a bit of input into trying to motivate others into getting into sport, or purely just continuing getting fit and getting healthy and meeting new people that want to do the same.
So what made you motivated to put yourself forward for the opportunity?
Well, my background, I know I've got a lot of knowledge. I still love staying active. I think there are two ingredients that people are quite familiar with. So myself being in the same position as others and trying to also lift people from off the sofa, so to speak. I've been there myself. Sometimes I think people just need a bit of encouragement to do it and know that others are doing the same and have that difficulty.
There's a great social vibe around tonight's event. Is the social side to exercising almost as important as the physical aspect?
I think it's almost imperative. It was one of the reasons I got into sport at the start as a kid. I know now, just coming into the doors there, everybody seems to be joking and laughing, and it kind of brings back my passion for sport. Because as you say, being in a fitness environment, some people take it very seriously and that's good for them, but I think when you get down to it, it is one of those things that's much better to be around like-minded people and make friends and be there with them.
And you'll be the first in a series of special guests. What motivational tips or advice are you looking to pass on to the members tonight?
I'm looking for people to try and get their own personal motivation and understand how important it is to give others motivation in any level, and not solely in the realms of going to a gym to do a sport. I'm thinking more everyday things like climbing the stairs or being active and maybe walking a wee bit more to work, and not even just the physical activity, but I know a lot of it for me was eating well, drinking well, and it being, I guess, a fit for life thing where it's all encompassing and not just choosing to do it every so often.
So tell us about how you got into badminton initially.
Initially, I used to go down holidays and my grandparents used to play. Not at all at a professional level. I think that was a wee love story from when they were back at school. And at that stage I was very good at it for my age, and there seemed to be a lot of opportunities in Scotland at that time. More so in my village, they had one of the Olympic players there, so I was always kind of looked up to him, and I ended up playing Commonwealth Games with him, which was a strange cycle. But I guess it was one of those things where I just picked it up as something to do, and again my friends were doing it, and it just really rolled from there.
And in terms of your career highlights or finest achievements, what do you reflect on as being your crowning moments?
I won the Danish International, the strongest nation in Europe, and that was my first time in Denmark, so for me that was a big achievement. But I think going to Commonwealth Games in Glasgow, that was personally one of my highlights, because it was one of the chances I got to be around my friends and my family and for them to be able to come and watch me, and again to see the buzz around sport and the culture of sport in Scotland. Before, when I'd been training on my own or been in other countries, I think you're a wee bit alien to that. You get into a bubble, as you mentioned, and that was definitely for me. It was something that made the whole journey worthwhile.
I know you've retired from professional sport as such.
Yeah.
How have you found the transition from being a dedicated 24/7 athlete almost to balancing up all your other commitments?
Different now to the immediate effect. A lot of the time you can't really avoid the lifestyle of being a professional athlete, because it permeates your whole life, everything you do, from eating, drinking, socialising at all. In the back of your mind, you're always thinking about if you can then perform and if you have any regrets about it. So I loosened off a wee bit after I finished, and I did a bit of coaching, tried to find my feet a wee bit. And after that now, I do a lot of coaching and development work. I still do charity events and play for the Loading, and trying to do as much motivational speaking stuff. Try to give back now, I guess. That sounds cliche, but taking a step back, you realise that people do need others to look up to or need guidance, because I certainly did when I was younger.
And finally, if you could say anything to people sitting at home perhaps who would be interested in coming along to Fit for Life, what would you say to them?
I'd say I don't think I've ever talked to anybody who's got up to do an activity with people that are like-minded, that you get the adrenaline buzz from, and a free activity. At the end of the day, if you absolutely hate it, you've not paid anything for it. You'll have made new friends anyway, and you will pick up tips that eventually you will find useful.